Hello, and welcome to What a Story. Today, I'm going to tell you a true story about an extraordinary man who will go to any length to achieve success. Our story begins with Ray Kroc pitching a multi-mixer milkshake machine. Following the completion of his pitch, we see him in the kitchen of a drive-in fast food restaurant, where the owner rejects his pitch. The story takes place in 1954. Ray orders lunch at the drive-in restaurant where he was pitching and notes how many of the customers are obnoxious teenagers and how long it takes for his food to arrive. Ray returns to his hotel room and dials his wife's number. He informs her that sales are good, but she is skeptical. He travels to another city and delivers the same pitch at another drive-in, only to be turned down. He also waits for lunch at that restaurant, and when it arrives, they get his order wrong, and the waitress leaves before he can complain. When he calls June at the sales company, she tells him about a restaurant in San Bernardino, California that has just ordered 6 of his machines. He believes this is an error and calls the store. They tell him it was a mistake and that they actually want to order 8. Ray is intrigued, so he takes Route 66 to San Bernardino to see the restaurant in person. Ray arrives at a walk-up restaurant rather than a drive-in. People wait in 2 lines and place their orders at a window. Ray approaches the counter and orders a burger, fries, and soda. He receives his food in a paper bag in seconds. This perplexes him because food normally arrives in about 20 minutes. Ray moves over to a bench and notices how family-friendly the establishment is. Ray introduces himself to Mac and says he sold the milkshake machines. Mac takes him on a tour of the kitchen, pointing out that one station is in charge of grilling burgers, another of spitting out condiments, and they apply exactly 2 pickles. Dick, Mac's brother, challenges him on whether the French fries are cooked to the proper time and temperature. Ray says he likes them crispy on the inside and fluffy on the outside. Ray is taken out to dinner by the McDonald brothers, who explain the history of McDonald's. Mac and Dick move to Hollywood to pursue Dick's dream of working in film. They then opened their own movie theater, but the Great Depression hit, and sales plummeted. So they set up shop in Monrovia, selling hot dogs, hamburgers, and juice. This structure was then relocated to San Bernardino. Initially, they sold a variety of items, with a focus on barbecue, but sales were low. They recognized that hamburgers, French fries, and milkshakes accounted for nearly all of their profits, so they streamlined the menu and concentrated solely on those items. They figure out the best way to set up the assembly line using a tennis court and employees, rearranging the chalk outline several times before getting the most efficient output. That is how they became the McDonald's we know today. Ray informs them that he wishes to franchise the restaurant. The brothers inform them that they have already tried and decided against it. There are 5 restaurants in California and 1 in Phoenix, but they weren't upholding standards. Ray insists on monitoring the franchising he'll do in his home state of Illinois. They eventually reach an agreement. Ray notices a poster on the wall depicting a McDonald's with 2 golden arches on either side of the building. They tell him it was a design Dick created, but it was only in Phoenix. Ray travels to Phoenix to view the restaurant in person, and it is stunning. He now wishes to incorporate the golden arches into all Illinois restaurants. Ray tells his wife about his plans to franchise McDonald's hamburgers, but she is skeptical as usual. As he drives through town, he notices a church and continues selling multi-mixer machines. He flies to California and tells the McDonald brothers that every town he visits has a church, and what will set McDonald's apart is that it will be family-oriented and community-oriented. Mac and Dick talk about it, and Mac persuades his brother to trust Ray because he promises to uphold the integrity of their restaurants. He signs a contract. It gives the McDonald's brothers complete control over every decision made because franchise stores will represent them. Ray's first stop is the bank, but they recognize him from other ideas he's pitched over the years. Another banker is willing to lend him the startup funds but requires him to put his house up as collateral. The construction of the restaurants begins. Ray tries to make changes, but they must be approved by the McDonald brothers per contract. Ray is reading a letter from the brothers, refusing to let Coca-Cola be a sponsor for McDonald's, in exchange for having their name on the menu. He calls them from a payphone, arguing that the sponsorship name will be insignificant, but Dick is adamant that it would be commercializing their restaurant, which they do not want to do. Ray micromanages a new McDonald's in Des Plaines, ensuring that everyone on staff follows protocol exactly as it is written. He is impressed by a young man named Fred, who works at the grill. Before we go any further, did you know that Fred plays an important role in McDonald's success? Wait until the end to find out. Ray and Ethel talk to other club members at the country club who brag about where they vacation. Ray proposes that the men open a franchise, which at first was laughing at him, but eventually agree, finalizing the deal over a round of golf. However, Ray notices that those restaurants are being neglected. There is garbage all over. They put the wrong number of pickles on or add lettuce to the burgers are overcooked, and another store sells fried chicken. He informs Ethel at home that he has canceled their club membership and that they will make new friends. When Ray visits the sales company where he works, he notices a Jewish man selling a Bible. He follows him out and inquires as to why a Jewish man is selling Bibles, to which the man responds that he simply wants to make a living. That's when Ray has an idea. The working class can scrape together enough money to open a franchise and care for it while also providing an income for their families. Ray tells Ethel about how well the man's restaurant is doing, but she is once again unimpressed. He tells her he has plans for them for supper, and they end up at a potluck dinner and bingo night where Ray pitches the idea of opening franchises to some of the blue-collar types who attend. Ray receives his monthly gross revenue at the sales office, which is low. He calls Mac McDonald and requests that his contract be renegotiated. Mac is unconvinced, stating that he is happy with the San Bernardino location and is unconcerned about the expansion. Dick and Mac argue about Ray after receiving this call, with Dick convinced they've let a wolf into the henhouse. At home, Ethel informs Ray that a man from the bank has called her and is furious that he mortgaged their house. He goes to the bank and yells at them for calling his home number, but the loan officer points out that he's months behind on his payments. At the next door desk, a customer named Harry is listening in. He approaches Ray and says he might be able to help. Back at the sales office, Harry informs Ray that his issue is a lack of revenue and a contract that gives him no autonomy. Ray should be in the real estate business, according to Harry. He should purchase the land on which the restaurants will be built and require franchise owners to lease from him. When Mac calls Ray, he is informed that Ray will be providing leasing services to new franchises. When Mac complains that Ray can't do this without their permission, Ray points out that the contract states that he can't make changes to the restaurants without their permission, but this is a separate company that isn't under their jurisdiction. Ray goes to the grand opening of a new McDonald's. Ray goes out to dinner, and the restaurant owner, Raleigh Smith, asks him if he wants to franchise a restaurant. Ray is smitten with the woman playing the piano for the patrons. Raleigh asks Ray if he wants to meet her, and he enthusiastically agrees. Ray requests that she play him a song, and then joins her at the piano. Ethel and Ray's relationship at home remains passive-aggressive. Soon after, he is named the founder of McDonald's, on the cover of Business Monthly. Ray has another meeting with Joan and Raleigh. Joan tells him about Instamix, which when mixed with water turns into a milkshake. Ray calls Mac in San Bernardino and suggests using an Instamix to save money on milkshakes. Ray is dismissive, that a powdered shake contradicts everything they stand for. Soon after, Mac calls Ray to complain that the operator in Sacramento has received a shipment of Instamix packets and wants to know why. Mac informs him that he has no authority to make changes without the permission of the brothers. Ray tells him that contracts, like hearts, are meant to be broken. Ray tells Ethel over dinner that he wants a divorce. He talks to Harry, who is now his lawyer, and tells her she can have the house, the car, and the insurance policy, but not a single share of McDonald's. Dick receives a letter containing a simple Instamix packet at his San Bernardino office. It's printed on letterhead that now bears the name the McDonald's Corporation. Mac complains to Ray about naming his company McDonald's. Dick points out that he invented the Speedy system and that he wants Ray to leave the company. He threatens Ray with legal action. However, Ray points out that they cannot afford to sue him. Mac suffers from diabetic shock. While Mac is in the hospital, Ray travels to California and speaks with the brothers. He brings a blank check and requests to purchase the company. The brothers discuss it and realize they'll never be able to beat him in court or get rid of him. Harry negotiates the deal. He says the brothers asked for $2.7 million, $1 million after taxes for each of them, plus 1% of the company's profits. They also want to keep the store in San Bernardino. The agreement is made in person, but Ray's lawyer says the 1% earnings must be done on a handshake basis. Ray runs into Mac in the bathroom after they get their checks. Mac asks him one question: why didn't Ray just run off and steal their ideas after they gave him a tour on the first day they met? Ray stated that his restaurant would have failed. It wasn't the system, but the name, McDonald's, that appealed to everyone. He had to have it as soon as he saw the name. Because it now infringes on Ray's intellectual property, the brothers are forced to change the name of the original hamburger stand. If you like the story, please like and subscribe. Thank you, and I'll see you in the next story.